No. All right, so the syllabus for Design 1, I'll go through this quickly, but not too fast. Class dates today until December 16th. That's the week of exam week. We will have a meeting on the Thursday of exam week. And here, as you know, we're meeting in person on Thursday mornings and the optional online session on Tuesdays. This Tuesday morning is helpful. It's kind of like office hours for me, where if you have questions, you need help, I can help you. I've got my iPad set up as an overhead camera, so I can do demonstrations. So if you're trying to figure out how to create an effect, how to draw something, I can show you an example. We'll be in L113 when we meet in person on campus. Expectations, you need to be able to use the internet, of course. If you have questions about how to use Blackboard or where things are in Blackboard, let me know. I can help you find it. It's where you'll see your grades and all information about the class. And if you have been in classes before and done online, you probably know that. Mm-hmm. Important here, withdrawal dates. Last day to withdraw with a full refund is August 30th. That's next Monday. If for some reason this class isn't working out for you after the first week, you can withdraw with a full refund. But only if you do it by August 30th. And November 22nd is the last day to withdraw with a W. After November 22nd, you would still be on the roster at the end of the semester, and then I would have to give you an F if you just stopped coming. Which sometimes happens, and it's a drag because you shouldn't have to pay for an F if you're not going to the class. Okay, so here's me, Duffy O'Connor. Duffy is my given first name. Parents thought it would sound cool, I guess. So I come from a very large family. I think they were just kind of out of ideas. I'm the youngest.
Something different.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right. Better than Bobo. I don't know, maybe something like that.
For sure.
I would have made that cool. Good morning, Gardenia.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I was trying to find the link. I accepted the meeting, but I don't know, somehow the link went away and I couldn't find it.
Oh, you know what? Okay, thank you. I'm gonna send a reminder.
Oh yeah, I accepted the meeting link, but then somehow it went away, so I had to look for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for a second because I need to invite and remind everybody. Good. Okay, so there. Let's go back to the screen share. Okay. Well, you're not too late. So, just starting to go over the syllabus. Contact information. This is the phone number for the liberal arts division office. I'm an adjunct and I don't have an office or phone on campus. So email is probably the best way to get in touch with me. And down here is an alternate email that I probably check more frequently, but the college wants us to use the official Harper College email for communication, which is probably better that way. It's all official with school business. All right, so the course description. Design 1 introduces you to fundamental skills fundamental to two-dimensional visual organization. Like the elements such as line, shape, and color, principles such as beauty, balance, variation. These are important aspects to creating images, and when you're new to it, it's really helpful to learn what goes into making a good composition. I remember as a student, I made a drawing and one of my professors said, "Oh, wow, that's a really good composition." And I had no idea what he was talking about. And I realized no one had ever explained composition to me, really. Or at least I didn't hear it. And so he explained to me why it was a good composition, and it was because there were all of these edges of, the like objects that were kind of leading you. If you follow these edges, kind of like these diagonals, they led you right to this like one important spot, which was a focal point. And I thought, oh wow, that was completely accidental. It was a lucky shot. I had a lot of those moments when I was early on in school where I would do something and it would work, but I didn't really understand how I did it. And so I just had to keep making a lot of things before I started to notice what I did to achieve some of these better images. So experience helps. It's kind of practice as in anything, like music, athletics, foreign language. If you don't practice, you're not going to get. You just can't rely on, luck to get your work done. So practice helps you get better and makes you more familiar with something, and that familiarity allows you to achieve. So it allows you to build skill. All right, so there will be some like black and white, just like some like more like design, like basic, like high contrast black white compositional like assignments, and then there will be color assignments starting middle of the semester. All right, so this is also designated as a Start Smart course for first-year students, and there will be resources to help you develop critical thinking and information literacy skills. This is something that the college attached to this course. Two things that you're going to do for this designation. One, you're going to meet with your academic advisor and create an academic plan for your time through Harper College, at least scheduling like the next semester. And then you will I will see the college will send me a report of all like the students in the class and who has completed the a meeting with the advisor to create the plan, an academic plan for at least the next the spring semester. The reason the college is doing this is because if you don't plan it out, you could end up trying to take a class or needing to take a class when you haven't taken the prerequisite, and that can set you back a year. Some classes are fall only or spring only, and you don't want to get, it's kind of a drag because it can affect all kinds of things. It can keep you from moving on to a bachelor's program if that's what you're interested in. It could affect financial aid. It can. So we want you to do that, and so they compel. So we're trying to compel everyone to do it. Technically, can't force you to do it, but there is a point total of 25 points attached to the academic plan. We're also going to do a library orientation that will probably be done remotely, where I might have them stream into the Thursday class to do a library orientation. One of your assignments, I'm going to probably set it later in the semester to one of the color assignments where you're going to do some library research that will be associated with the project. And all of this is because the college also wants students to know how to use the library. There are students who get through and into the second year, like I've never even been in the library or I've never used the library. And so they want us to require you to use the library. I'm fine with that. Libraries are good. You can have a good idea of how to complete something and decide that you don't need to do more research or you don't need to know more about it. But often if you go looking for more information, you will find much more than you expected, and you will find that it makes your work better. Okay, and something that I learned when I got done with school and I went on to do professional work, the more I know, the better I look to other people, and that affects how well you do professionally. If you can impress people in your own field with what you know, that's really critical. Okay. So the expected results. You need to understand a demonstration or demonstrate an understanding of design, basic principles of design. It is up to me to make sure you understand that, and you will understand that if you complete the project successfully. I am confident. Proficiency in the use of the design materials, tools, and techniques. Drawing, cutting. There will be cut paper assignments, and making sure that you get a nice clean edge when you cut something, not having it kind of ragged looking. That's technique, and that makes a big difference in how the work appears. Basic color theory and application. You will learn that if you complete the assignments. I am confident. Evaluate quality of a design based on intent. So this is kind of like it's a little softer. Like, how do you know something is good? And we'll work on trying to be able to identify how something is good. This is more like aesthetics, and aesthetics refers generally to something that is appealing or beautiful. That can be subjective, but it doesn't mean anything goes. And accurately use basic design terminology. There will be 2 vocabulary quizzes, midterm and final. All right? Technical skills. We need you to be able to access Blackboard, upload, download information, excuse me, and utilize email for communication. If this, Delta variant gets out of control, which I'm not sure if it will, I hope it won't. If we get forced back online completely, you're going to need to know how to post how to post stuff online in Blackboard, and I have a short video in the assignments folder that goes through that. So, but for the time being, you're going to turn work in on Thursdays, so that you will give the actual work to me, and I will take it home and grade it and give it back to you with comments. Okay. There are no required textbooks. Some online research will be required. Excuse me. All right. Technology. A lot of this stuff is going to be done by hand. Drawing, cutting and pasting, painting. So the being able to use these tools is important. All right, so that's the grading scale, standard, 10-point increments from A to F. So here, the project assignments, this looks like a lot, but we have a long semester. The semester is 16 weeks, and then exam week is 17. I find that it's plenty of time to get all this done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 assignments. The last one will either be the zoetrope or pixelation painting. I haven't decided yet. I like to keep it flexible. Midterm vocabulary quiz, final vocabulary quiz. Here's your academic plan, 25 points. Library orientation, 25 points. In-person attendance is 45. It's going to be 3 points per meeting on Thursdays. We are not meeting on Thanksgiving, and so there will be 15 in-person meetings other than the final exam, which you need to be at. So I'm rounding up. I'm just rounding off the attendance at 45. And then here's a breakdown, like total points. In Blackboard, I'll have there's a total set Usually I'll have, like, when I grade something in and post it in Blackboard, I have the option to tell, like, for you to see that it's an A, or like the percentage or the point total. I usually leave it at letter grade because that's clearer. If it's just like the point total, then it's like, okay, I got 45 out of 50. What is that? If I tell you it's an A minus, that's clearer. But if you want to know more information about your grades, please ask me. All right. And these projects, I have them set to last for about 2 weeks each. Some of them I'll start them while you're finishing one of them, like the monochromatic pattern. While you're finishing that one, I'll introduce the complementary portrait, and because this one takes a little bit, it's a little more work, and I might extend that to be turned in after Thanksgiving. We'll see. We will see. I will not move deadlines sooner. If I ever move a deadline, I'll push it back later. I can't really rationalize saying, like, oh no, wait, you do finish this a week early. That would be unprofessional, honestly. Okay. Achieving a high point total, satisfying the minimum requirements for the project assignments and quizzes will most likely earn a grade of C. That is, like, minimum requirements is that it's done, but it has work, that, like, there are improvements I can identify. My goal in grading is that I'm fair, without giving away too much. You know, I've for a long time, colleges have been concerned about grade inflation, and I years ago at a different school had a meeting. We had a good meeting about grade inflation, where they showed us this, like, really like a chart that showed, like, how grades were escalating across the country in colleges and universities. Duke University was one of the worst at grade inflation. The percentage of A's just, like, went up. Apparently everybody at Duke is excellent, but there was a time when they weren't. And so the question was, has everyone really gotten that much smarter? Or have we been more generous? And so they asked us to consider, is this truly excellent? If it's excellent, then yes, it deserves an A. If it's good, it deserves a B. A B is not a bad grade. Not at all. All right. So how do you do well? Process. This is how you make something. Like, this is like arriving at ideas. I'll have you do drawings in advance of in advance of beginning a finished version. I'll have you do several drawings to figure out a good or even an excellent solution. Craft, this term, some people still use craftsmanship, but you'd probably have to say craftspersonship to be more equal. Craft, just as a thing, is how well you've done something. Originality, unique and creative solutions. This is where this is why you make drawings, is to arrive at unique and creative solutions. It's really nice to be able to surprise yourself with how well you've done. That comes from doing a lot of drawings. You don't have to be great at drawing. Drawing is really just meant to get an idea out of your head onto paper so you can see it and then you can show it to somebody else. It's still a very important skill in design, in architecture, but people use it less and less because they are tied to only doing the finished work that they're going to show to a client, and that's really all digital. Excuse me. But drawing by hand is a lot faster. And so people who develop that skill have a much better range of skill. And I've spoken to people in big architecture and design firms. Every time I take students to one of those places or talk to somebody in that field, I ask them, do people still draw, or does your firm still value drawing? And they say yes. And then they'll say the problem is that fewer and fewer people are good enough at it that we would put them in front of a client. So, all right, comprehension. Your work should demonstrate that you understood what the assignment was about. And this also, it's my job to make sure you understand it. All right, attendance. As I have said, in person will be required. If you will earn 3 points per class meeting attended on Thursdays. 0 points if you are absent. Mask covering nose and mouth required. This is a college policy. No exceptions. I don't particularly like wearing a mask. It's hard. It can be hard to breathe if I'm talking. But it is necessary. Online sessions. So once you start working, this session on Tuesdays will be helpful for you to see, to ask me questions. I can do demonstrations specifically to help you figure out something you're trying to figure out. Or what I'll also do is record some extra demonstrations that would be helpful for you to use online. So I have a YouTube channel, and I will I'll probably use some recordings from the last couple of semesters, but I will also add new ones for this semester. This video today, this will be on the YouTube channel later today. All right, assignments are to be completed by the scheduled due date. Late assignments will be accepted with the understanding that the grade for that work may be lowered as a penalty. That is done on behalf of the people who stay up late trying to get something done on time. If I don't make the deadline matter, then why should you sweat it and sleep, less the night before something is due when other people turn it in a week late and don't get penalized for it? So, and it's up to me to decide if something is, if something will get a grade penalty for being late. Sometimes people have just absolute disasters occur in their lives, and I'm sympathetic. Okay, if the semester ends and you have not turned in one of the assignments, that will get a grade of 0. If it's really late, or if it's incomplete, if it's just not you got half of it done, it's the end of the semester, and you're like, oh my God, this thing's terrible. I'm not even finished with it. I'm just not going to turn it in. That's a bad idea. Send me whatever you got, even if you're embarrassed by it, because then I can give you some credit. And if there's a total of 50 points for something, and you earn 25 out of 50, which is an F, that's a lot better than earning 0 out of 50. 0 out of 50 really does harm to your overall grade. Okay, academic dishonesty. So don't cheat. There are a lot of ways one can cheat. The nice thing about an in-person studio class is I see you doing your work, and so I have a pretty good idea if suddenly somebody's work gets exponentially better, then I would be suspicious. But I don't have really time to try to figure out finding evidence of somebody trying to deceive me. But if it's really if I feel like you're gaining an unfair advantage over the other students, we'll have a talk. If it's really bad, then the college has the authority. I guess they can discipline you in some way. Hopefully, that would never come to that. If you're here and you want to learn, then that's not going to happen because you won't cheat. Okay, so now down here under, so this is college policies. Student Code of Conduct, there's a link here to the Student Code of Conduct. Harper College resource page. That's not, there it is, it's a live link. Good. Here's the Title IX resource page. I'm not going to go through all of that. Okay. So all notifications related to Harper College will go to your Harper College email. Please check your Harper College email. It really doesn't help you and certainly doesn't excuse you from some responsibility if you say like, oh yeah, I haven't checked my email in a couple of weeks. Like, well, it's the only way I have to communicate with you. We're not using personal phones or phone numbers or anything like that. Okay. Course culture, behavior, be a good student, be a good citizen. Here's a whole list of things like, disruptive stuff. If, especially in the early days of cell phones and especially smartphones, it was really, really hard to get students to just stop, like put their phones away, turn their phones off, put them in their bag, not have it just sitting out with like Facebook scrolling in front of you while you're supposed to be paying attention to the work. I have a fair expectation that you're going to be a good student in the class. Why you would sign up for a class and decide you're going to be a bad student, I don't know. So here, no distractions. Yes, no, if you have a question, ask me. Every once in a while, a student is a little bit monopolizes my time a little bit, and it's really up to me to just say, okay, I need to go talk to the other students. But some people, it's rare that this happens where somebody's like, angry, disruptive. I did have one guy years ago who would like make a mistake and he would just pound on his desk and I just had to tell him would you just stop it, leave the room, go calm down and come back when you're calmer. It's like, I understand. I get mad about stuff myself, but you got to be considerate of where you're at. There are other people involved. Academic dishonesty, again, this is okay, so this is like a redundant. I tacked on some stuff the college sent, so that had to be on the syllabus, and it ended up doubling that. I'll edit that and repost the syllabus once I re-edit it. Student services. So support services, there are a lot of support services. Academic advising, you're going to get to know your academic advisor if you don't already. Access for disability services. If you need the services of this office, please contact them. I do get, usually every semester, there is some student that qualifies for an accommodation due to some unique condition, and that's fine. I just need to know about it. Okay, if you qualify for this sort of thing and you need it, take advantage of it. If you are a veteran, there are you should let the school know if you have any obstacles due to military service. So here, writing center. You probably won't need the writing center for this class. Tutoring center. they probably don't have someone that can help you with this class. If you're really, like, we could work on like trying to find, like, although if you did, so like, I need someone to help me with these assignments. You want it to be a peer, not me, or not, or like what I'm doing isn't enough. I'd be happy to work with the tutoring center to find someone to help you. There are students that might be able, that could be identified to do that. Student wellness and safety. If you need any of these services, please contact them. Harper Wellness, counseling, community resources, college police. If there's ever like a really like bad disruption, if I can't deal with it in class, I'll call the Harper College Police, and they'll come and sort it out. All right, so here at the end, this is also posted in the syllabus and schedule section. Here are due dates. So September 9th is the first due date. That's 2 weeks from Thursday. And that's the first assignment. So here's a great segue to Blackboard and assignments. All right, down here, this is a little short video of how to create a thread and post images in a Blackboard discussion board forum. Currently, we don't need that, but if you do, like, if you need to turn something in at the end of the semester, and it's like, I can't get it to you, then you can do. Then you could do it this way. I'd prefer to have it in person, like have the project in my hand. It's a lot easier for me to see what you've done if I have the actual one. Okay, so in this folder, there are different. Here's the assignment document. This is a PowerPoint presentation for the assignment, and here's a. That is not a presentation sample. This is a project sample. I will edit that. Okay. So this is a good example of the first assignment. I think you can see the motion in this bottom composition, left to right. And the way that progression works is you can see that there's that kind of boomerang chevron shape that is pointing. It's almost like an arrow pointing to the right. It's really like a pretty easy compositional trick. An arrow tells you which direction to go. That's a perfectly good shape to use for an assignment like this. And it looks kind of like a flying wing, and it's kind of hard to resist that, going left to right with that assignment, with that bottom composition, isn't it? It is. All right. So here, the assignment document, which I should have had open. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully this won't take too long to pop up. Come on, internet. There you go. All right. Let's make this bigger. There's huge. Okay. All right, so controlled repetition of a shape. You're going to begin by making 8 3x6-inch composition studies, and you'll refine 3 of them as 5x10-inch drawings, and then we're going to use cut paper to do the finished versions. I want you to first, I'm going to go over this again on Thursday in class. But you can see these sketches like this. They start out in pencil, and I'll have you use marker, like a black felt tip pen and Sharpie, to fill in solid areas. And so one of the things I want you to see, like just in these, like this one with the circles. Again, left to right, changing scale, changing the size of the circles, going left to right, creates a progression that the eye follows. It's really hard for, it's really, I think it's really impossible for the mind to resist that effect. You'll also notice that the small black circles inside get bigger as it goes to the right. So this student did this in a couple of places. Down here with these like thin rectangles, where the scale changes. In some cases, the scale changes twice. And so it just re-emphasizes that movement across the composition. So composition is just really like an intentional arrangement of the elements in an image. Some of these are less successful. The tornado-looking things, not as successful. I think I would have done more of them. This one is good. This one is also good. This one, very kind of crazy, meandering path. Here is this is the finished. So the student shows that one, that one, that one. I let you choose which is going to be the left. Like, I'll give you advice, but if you decide I want these three, I'll let you have I will let it be your choice. I will encourage you to use compositions that I feel are the most successful. But if overall the three of them together have a look that you want, then I will let you have it. Hopefully you don't want something that is really ineffective. Because if it's really ineffective, then your grade will show that I think it's ineffective. So it's a good idea to listen to me. I've been doing this for a while. I started drawing as a child, as most children do, and I never stopped. So I've been drawing and drawing and drawing for a long time. When I started college and started learning about art and design and drawing, one of the things that became very obvious was how little I knew going into it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do very briefly. Any questions so far before I do a quick demonstration?
No, everything seems fine.
Great.
I'm good too.
Thank you. Okay. So there's a cat in the way, as there usually is. Come on, little baby, you gotta go. Oh my gosh. Here. Yes. No, I'm gonna go back there. Sit there. You can't have the spot. No, you can't have the spot. Okay. This is Elliot. I've had him for a long time, and he is like my little baby. I have two other cats, Dennis and Joey, and you might see one of those guys, but Elliot likes to be on screen. Gosh, you're just in the way, man. Okay, well, let me make this work. What? No. Sharpen that first. The darker pencil to show up better. So, in terms of drawing, this is a just standard like number 2 pencil. This is the old Murado Black Warrior, which I love as a name for for a pencil. Number 2 pencils are kind of like a medium graphite, and they will work. You don't have to spend money on drawing pencils. They can be helpful. At some point, I might hand one to you when you're working in class so you can see the difference. They're not tremendously expensive if you go out and buy one like 6B pencil at Blick, but it's not necessary. You can do the class with just a regular number 2 pencil. So make this a little bit larger. Yes, you're gonna sorry. Here, we'll play with abbreviation. Okay, so 3x6. I want a 3x6 composition. I can measure it if I, here, I'm going to try this. So it's twice as wide as it is tall. That's pretty good. I've done this often enough. I can approximate 3x6. Okay, so what you want is for this, like your composition, if it's sitting horizontal like this, I want you to go the long way in one side, use the space, and then come back out that side. Larger. Okay? Now, I've drawn this line just as a guide for where these shapes are going to go. You saw in those examples that students are using geometry. You can use circle. And sketching quickly is important because, especially at this point where you're making these smaller drawings, these smaller sketches, they can be approximate. They need to be clear enough that we can see what you're doing. So let's say you have a rectangle or a circle, and you think, that's kind of boring. You can turn one of these like let's say if we curve that a little bit. And then turn that into kind of like a long, thin triangle. Or students have used more like symbolic but recognizable shapes like, what do you see there? Someone have a guess. What do you see? What shape is this?
A leaf maybe?
Very good. That's exactly what I was thinking. That you were not completely sure is actually a good thing, because when you do something that's kind of abstract or symbolic like this, it could be a leaf, it could be a flame, and it gives it much more range in terms of its possible meaning. It doesn't mean like this shape here. There's a limit to how many things it could imply or suggest. You wouldn't look at this and think that like it's lightning. I wouldn't. But you might think flame, you might think leaf, you might think pod or something like that. But something organic, as we say. And then you have geometric. geometric and organic are not mutually exclusive of each other. You can have, I mean, there are, there's geometry in nature all the time. All right, so let's take like, well, I've seen students do all kinds of cool things with like simple shapes. You want to be able to cut them out of black paper, which I will provide to you. Okay, so here, let's start. I'm going to just use the circles. Actually, I want to crop that. I want to avoid making like this edge, like the two edges just touch like that, because it would look like it's kind of attached, like goof up any appearance of depth. All right, so if I just do this, I'm just going to sketch circles. Sketching a circle, just go fast. I'm going to change scale. Maybe crop a couple of these, crop that just a teeny bit. And then very quickly I'm getting something that it's got a little bit more mass to it. It covers more area. And it definitely, I mean, kind of like you can also see there's a little bit of energy to it. I can put a few strays out here as if it's, like in some place where so that these areas aren't completely empty. But I want to have the dominant imagery, I want them to be right here. And even just like as a sketch with pencil. The reason to start with pencil and to go through the process, like fill this in with pencil, is so that I can see it before I ink it. If I just decide, oh, that's great, and then I ink it, and then look at it later and go, I should have worked on that more. I mean, that's fine. I would just make another drawing. If you goof one of them up, like if you ink it and you see like, no, that's not right. You can see like, when you have an idea of what to do, these drawings really don't need to take you very much time. This is just, conceptual, you're going through this conceptualization process with the drawing so that you can understand a number of solutions in a relatively short period of time. So this could be, I think maybe I could have a little bit more, like, I can have this kind of line kind of break up and kind of scatter. Like it starts tighter, more organized, and then it starts to come apart. Which is kind of cool. I don't mind that. Over here, where these overlap, when you do something like, when you do the finished version in cut paper, which makes a really clean, dark shape, like clean black shape, you might have to do something like where if you have them overlap, and something that, like you can do this in drawing and make it look like they're kind of separate. But if it's black paper, they're just going to look like they merge into one shape. What I'll recommend that you do is that one right there actually has that shape, not a full circle, so that you like create a little sliver of white, like the paper underneath, so that they look separate and they don't look flat. And it'll keep this from looking too flat. Okay. Well, that's all I'm going to have for you this morning. If you have questions, you can ask them now. And I would recommend that you just, in a sketchbook, in a notebook, look up, just like, try some of these things. If you want to look at the, you can go through the folder in Blackboard and look through the presentation is in PowerPoint. So if you don't have PowerPoint on your device, I don't think you'll be able to see it. But I'm going to go through the PowerPoint in class. So, I allow a little extra time for this first assignments as we get started. But try some drawings and just start to get yourself in the mindset. And as far as supplies are concerned, the first week, as I mentioned, we are drawing. So you don't need, really for this first week in class, you need to bring your sketchbook, pencils, pen, marker, eraser. I think that's all you'll need. I will go through, in class, I'll go through all the assignments with all the actual objects and talk about them so that you can see what they are. Some of the stuff that you need to get, it can be useful to see what it is before you go looking for it, because there might be some similar looking things that are not the right thing to have. Okay.
I have a question as to where the classroom is located.
Oh yeah, so L113, so building L,
That's the one like kind of like right in the middle.
it's in the middle. It's right. It's kind of like there's like where Avante is on the outside by the parking lot. You go like, it's kind of like in the more like in the middle part of campus. Yeah, maybe I'll. So like if you look like you can see if I can like put up a campus map. If you look up a campus map, then you'll be able to find it. But I'll where is it? Like it's near the library.
I think there's an app on our phone that you can download, and then it shows you like the whole campus, and it gives you directions to like the classes you want.
Great, thank you. Where do you get that app? I mean, is that the Harper app?
Yeah, it's the Harper app.
Okay.
It shows you like a map, and then if you're trying to look for a class, it gives you the directions, like where to go. I tried it last time when I went to go get my ID.
Great, thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Well, I will. I'll find that feature. I have the app downloaded, and I'll find that feature. I haven't had to look for a location for a while. So, all right. Well, I'll see you on Thursday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.